Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone. Today we are from group number 3, and today we will present to you about a timeless historical film that title of Big 1988. And this film is about a young boy that magically transformed into an adult overnight. And in this film we will explore, we will dive what the highlighted issue, what the main issue and the solution, and we will relate what we learn in our subject, which is organizational behavior. So we will check it out, all of this topic in our upcoming next slide.
Okay, so for the next part is the concept or theories of organizational behavior that related to the movie Big 1988. So one of the concept of organizational behavior that related to the movie Big 1988 is job satisfaction. So what is meant by job satisfaction is positive impression of the job that result from an evaluations of its characteristic. Because in this movie clearly show Josh's ability to carry out the assigned task. So as we know, in this movie it clearly talks about the life of Josh, which who has suddenly grown up yet still has a kid's mind. Due to that, Billy assists his friend to find a job that suits him. During that time, Josh was show his interest in applying to become a computer operator since he has a proficiency while using computers and he was confident in his ability to perform the duties as a computer operator. So it will be easy for him while performing the duties assigned to him. So, the outcomes of job satisfaction that can be seen are from job performance. It implies that employees who don't feel pressure while carrying out their jobs are more likely to be productive workers. So, customer satisfaction is one of the most visible outcomes. It is because satisfied employees will increase customer satisfaction and loyalty. And for the second concept that can be related with this movie is a personality and values. So a personality is a dynamic concept that defines how a person's entire psychological system grows and develops. It demonstrates how a person behaves to and engage with other people. As the example in this film, demonstrate everyone in the firm has a distinctive personality. Particularly, the characteristic of Josh and Paul can be shown to be the two quite distinct personalities. As a manager, it is his responsibility to assess each employee's personality. This is intended to help the manager to pick the most suitable employee to carry out the duty that was given. In addition, Josh's actual age of 12 years old is not going to hinder him from contributing effectively to the company. It is because Josh is the only employee that has more knowledge about the toys, so it is the benefit for him to perform his duty well.
Okay, now I will continue to the second topic of organization behavior that we could relate to the movie, which is foundation of group behavior. There is a scene where Josh and his colleague are found working in a group. They brainstorm ideas related to new toy proposal that can be sold and released in the market. Under this topic, there are two types of concept used in the movie. First is working in group and second is group decision making. For working in group, the movie demonstrates two different kinds of group. First is formal group that represented by Josh and his team that includes Mr. Macmillan, the manager, Susan, Paul, and others. It is classified as formal group because it forms under the Macmillan Toys organization structure. While for the informal group, the easiest example is Susan and Paul alliance, who don't really like Josh, the main character, and attempt to oust him. For group decision making, the movie illustrates both the strength and weakness. First, we can see that the group benefit from gaining more diverse point of view and knowledge during the meeting. Josh suggests a new toy variation after listening to Paul's proposal. He thinks that Paul's suggestion was too simple and not interesting enough to caught the children's attention. So he tried to came up with a new idea, which is instead of making a robot that could turn into building, he want to create something more unique. That is a robot that could turn into a bug. In our opinion, this scene exemplifies why group decision making is beneficial, because while discussing, if one member have merely ordinary idea, the other member can try to enhance and make suggestion in order to create a great final decision. The second strength of group decision making is increased acceptance of solution. It is portrayed in the same scene after Josh making a suggestion. Everyone in the meeting seems to find it interesting and want to proceed with the new idea, except for Paul. As we know, group can be defined as two or more interactive individuals that work together to accomplish specific goals. Therefore, it might be difficult to make a decision if this conversation only includes Josh and Paul. However, since many members involved in the meeting, it is easier to reach an agreement and make the final decision. In terms of weakness, group decision making can lead to conformity pressure. For example, Paul, who was forced to accept the group final decision despite his dissatisfaction because his idea was rejected. It is different compared to working on our own. We can make decisions based on what we believe is right. The pressure then leads to resentment as Paul keep questioning Josh's idea during the next proposal session in the movie.
Next, we go to the emotion and mood, which is relate with the cause of OB. So what are the social activities and sources of emotion and mood in this movie? For most us, social activities increase positive mood and have little effect on negative mood. Positive mood seeks out social interaction. Physical, informal, and Epicurean activities are more strongly related to positive mood than formal and sedentary events. Then, what we can relate with the movie of Big 1988. So, there is an element of social activities that serve as one of the sources of emotion and mood, which is Josh and Susan develop a close romantic relationship that is associated with emotional support. Their well-being and mental health may benefit from this support both within and outside the workplace. An individual's ability to manage stress, overcome difficulties, and maintain a joyful emotional state during social activities and work relationship can be enhanced through emotional support from a romantic partner. There is a scene where they work together to come up with ideas for their task, staying late in the office. Susan support Josh by accompanying him and providing coffee and snack. So and then we can see also that their boss is also delighted by the news of their relationship. So this demonstrate that emotion and mood play a significant role in creating a harmonious atmosphere in the workplace, resembling a close bond like that of a family among colleagues. So Susan and Josh also got to know each other better after attending their company dinner. So here we can see that they were able to strengthen their relationship as colleagues and eventually fell in love, creating a healthy positive connection between them from attending dinner company. So this can be fostered through activities such as like what I said, organizing dinner gathering, going hiking with company employees, and so on. So such social activities help employee create positive emotion and mood to some extent.
There are three main issues in organizational behavior on this movie, which is ethical issues raised by Josh Lyon. Secondly, Josh mastering work-life balance, and the thirdly is Paul Davenport is overconfident in his abilities as a businessman. There are a number of ethical issues raised by Josh Lyon. First, it is generally considered unethical to lie to people. Lying can damage trust and relationships, and it can also lead to people making decisions based on false information. Second, George lying is often motivated by self-interest. He lies to get a job, to get a date, and to avoid getting into trouble. This suggests that George is not always concerned with the ethical implication of his action. Next, George Baskin's work-life balance in Big 1988 is not ideal. He is a workaholic who is constantly driven to succeed. He often works 8 hours and takes his work home with him. This leads to him neglecting his personal life and relationships. There are few scenes in the film that illustrate George's poor work-life balance. In one scene, he is working late at night with his girlfriend. Susan calls him. He tells her that he can't come over because he has to work, and she hangs up on him. In another scene, Josh is so focused on his work that he doesn't even notice that Susan has broken up with him. Last but not least, Paul Davenport is overconfident on his abilities as a businessman. He believes that he is always right, and he is quick to dismiss the ideas of others. He is also very competitive, and he is always trying to prove himself. Paul Davenport's overconfidence bias lead him to make some poor decisions. For example, he refuses to listen to George's idea for a new toy and eventually loses his job because of it.
So, solution for the issues, number one is be honest. The most important thing when answering this question is to be honest with yourself and the interview. If Josh are comfortable with the idea of lying for the company, it is important to express this clearly. Next, set boundaries. Setting boundaries between work and personal life is important for a good work-life balance. So lastly, is foster a culture of open communication. Okay, this encourage an environment where team members feel comfortable expressing their ideas and opinions.